test the
Runway,
please.
Hello there, and welcome back to your favorite irregularly scheduled quad weekly podcast, Past the Runway, with your hosts Fletcher
and Pauli.
And are we gonna acknowledge the gap between episodes, or are we just kind of?
What gap are you talking about?
That's what I thought. So we're getting ready here for the summer. I'm finally done with school for the year. Bar some summer stuff I still got to do. Pauli's still in the thick of it, though.
Oh yeah, we're on let's see, week 9 of 11 is about to start, and then I get a hard, long-earned vacation of 3 weeks. So
iconic.
It should be should be great. Just as busy as a human being ever was. You know the vibes.
Yes, I definitely do.
I will say that I woke up the other day and my air conditioner stopped working. Now, if you know anything about where I'm located, that's not the best sentence you could have said.
Yeah, no bueno.
So I had the folks come out and look at it, and so they have a shortage of parts, and I need a new compressor, so they got to order one. So in the meantime, very graciously, they gave me a window AC unit. So I have like something in the living room, so it's not
death.
It's not an inferno, and the apartment's not 80 degrees inside.
Good.
Now, like, I like it a bit. Like, the hot doesn't really bother me, but even then, like, if the apartment was 80 degrees inside, I would have to be like, I don't really care for this.
Yeah, it's a bit much. We need that escape somewhere at least.
Yeah, so the two options are, they either fix the AC or build me an indoor pool, and they opted to fix the AC because that's probably cheaper.
That's fair.
That's what we're going with. I respect their decision.
Yeah, very, very respectable logic there. All right, well, let's jump in. So trivia this week is PD trivia. So fire away.
Well, we're going to keep it, like the last couple times we've been giving you like little scavenger hunts. Like you got like A to B to find C and D. This one's a bit more straightforward, especially if you're familiar with the license to kill mode. And so your trivia is going to be, what is the, plain and simple, what is the current longest standing LTK untied in Perfect Dark?
Okay, am I allowed to look at the records page?
If it doesn't show you the initials, I reckon you can.
I think it does show initials, but I'm not sure how much that'll help.
Well, you can look at the records page because it's not in the database. Don't know why I was thinking that initials would key you in on anything that doesn't have the time it was achieved next to it. So yeah, you can look at the records page. Shoot, go ahead.
Let me see here. Okay, well, I guess initials probably do help a little bit. Although
there's only like, I don't know, 6 or 7 unique initials, just off the top of my head. How many uniques are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay.
I think my guess is gonna be CI LTK. That's my guess.
It wouldn't be a bad guess. So we'll mark that down. And if you're playing at home, you mark it down too. And the usual. We'll wrap back around and we'll see if you got the answer right.
Yes. All right. So let's hop into the rankings. So we have our 3 GoldenEye things to mention. First up is the legendary bands achieving Cradle 33 sweep, an epic set of world records that are hopefully maxed because fuck Cradle.
It's one of those things you like really hope is maxed because
the alternative is not pleasant to think about.
The alternative is okay. If the alternative doesn't include doing something completely brand new that's less ridiculous, then it's...
Oh, and there's like no way it would at this point.
Yeah, so I mean the alternative is like cry, I guess, if 32 were to happen. I know there's at least one insanely cooked individual that's trying to make it happen.
Yeah. But anyway, so Ban's getting the 33 sweep and a nice little splash of yellow there.
That's my guy.
On the Cradle rankings. So shout out to Bans, the legend.
Bans, go sweep a good level now if you don't mind.
Yes. And then another legend bopping me on one of my best times. Antler grabbing Frig Essay 100.
He just does it again, doesn't he?
Yeah, the skip from 104. And apparently the hostages are real early. Oh yeah, there. Right as he gets on the ramp. Yeah.
You know who else is real early is Antler himself, because he posted this time, and the summer event hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, no kidding.
He usually waits for that to start for the Antler summer magic to kick in, but he's a little early.
Just warming up a bit too early. Speaking of warm-ups, and on a classic warm-up stage, Dr. Light dipping his toes into Goldeneye and getting FAC SA53. Also, these all bought me. Why did I pick these? But getting the 53, of course, Frig SA and Double O being pretty luck-based as far as actually managing to get those times. Shout out to all the players that have paced 51 and 52, but Doak never appears, and then when he does, you don't get good Trev anyway.
Yeah.
But, so yes, shout out to DL's 53.
And that put him, well, not that one time, but now, he's in the 4K group for Goldeneye, sitting at Security 28.
Yeah.
Past Aisha Schmidt.
Indeed.
So, the guy's good. What can you do?
Cry.
You can.
And unmod him. I can do that. I have that power.
Okay. Let's settle down. We unmodded him. How long did you have him unmodded for? Like over a year?
It was a long time.
A very long time. But he followed for Banjo, mate. You can't.
He did, yes.
You can't unmod him now. That's a bit in bad taste.
Yeah, I've had to behave myself.
All right. So, now we got Perfect Dark. Now, for the first time, I'm gonna give you, a bit of, a bit of ironic, a little bit of Alanis Morissette. You know the song, right?
I'll say yes.
10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife.
Sure.
Yeah. See, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, what would be more apropos than a guy named Fall getting defection Agent 5? What would make more sense in this whole world? Would anything?
The dude's 14. What a legend.
This guy is 14. It didn't exist very long ago, and now here we are. Pocketed a 5, point sweep on investigation, Chicago 15 standard. He's dabbling, he could, obviously he could be pretty good if he gets into it, and he gets really good, and he's 14, which means he has a 30-year shelf life to play based on who's playing right now.
And all the free time in the world to actually sit down and play. I remember those days.
You remember what that was like?
No, I don't. I honestly don't remember it at all.
It's just completely gone.
That was like 2 years ago.
This is now a boomer podcast where we complain about, oh, I used to have free time to play all day.
Oh,
now,
ain't that the truth?
Now I work. I go to work.
Preach, brother.
I walk uphill 15 miles uphill both ways.
Just to get the N64 controller out.
Yeah.
Goddamn snow, man.
Travel all the way to Gunnersville just to get a 6 out of 10 stick. You know, that's what my grandpappy would have said if he speed ran GoldenEye Perfect Dark. He would have said it like that.
Of course.
As all old Southern men sound, of course. But so we're gonna get into League in a bit, but fall, out of nowhere now he's playing and he's drafted to a team. So, hey, hopefully he sticks with it. It may be difficult to communicate with a 14-year-old from Japan, but at least it makes it interesting.
True.
Okay, so going from a guy we know nothing about to a guy that we know a little bit more about. Have you heard of Blake Carroll, Lake Demon?
Until you said Lake Demon, I hadn't, but...
Have you heard of Lake Demon, Lake Demon?
I've heard of Lake Demon Blake Carroll.
Oh.
Or Blake Lake Demon Carroll.
Well, all 6 of those guys untied attack ship essay and got 230.
Insane. 6 different people getting that record all in one day. Insane.
Brazy. So we go from, frigate to attack ship, which both have luck-based endings, but in a different flavor. Because the attack ship ending always works. It just doesn't always work as fast as you want it to. And then the frigate ending literally never works.
Yes.
Especially when you pace like frigate 59 or, 00104 or whatever, and then your completion's like a 109 or something. It's usually what happens. Because the worst runs seem to always complete. Have you noticed that?
Ain't that the truth?
I don't know what that's about, but I hate the script. Can we fix it? Can we just have the best runs complete instead?
Please.
It would save everyone a lot of time.
Dude, imagine a world where frigate completes every time, and so everyone just has whatever their best pace is to complete. Frigate would literally be a top tier level.
Yeah, can we, in 20 whatever, when someone just makes the argument to use the EverDrive and make them work like the CI hostages, where they just instantly vanish and they're rescued, then it's fine. The level's even better.
What a tragedy! This is the worst timeline. But anyway, shoutouts to Lake Demon.
Yeah, just
nice record.
It just does it again. Complete mastery of seemingly any video game he plays for whatever reason. He's just good.
When you got it, you got it. When you know. The perfect dark non-ace champ.
Yes.
That's on his profile. That's amazing.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
PD Knack. Perfect dark non. You know what? I like that.
That's good. That's good. I can totally respect that. That's good.
Absolutely. All right.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, now, for the third time, we've got our guy, your guy, everyone's guy. Maybe not your guy. I don't know. Let's find out. You got Big Dub getting his first points in Perfect Dark with a cheeky little laser skip investigation 126, and then improving it the next day to 119. So instead of only having 3 points to his name, my man's got 23.
Nice.
So he is officially on the board, and such a time, punched his ticket for league because again, the man's been conscripted, so it's time to play the game.
Indeed. When you get drafted, you gotta go.
Yeah, you just gotta show up. What can you do?
That's all it is at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I'm keen to see the growth. We're all about growth on the show.
Yes, it's all about where you start and where you go. We were all once plebs with 0 points.
Yeah, we were all once really bad, and now we're at least acceptable.
Yes, I have quite a lot of evidence that shows how bad I once was.
Right. I mean, you have are you at 1K PR videos?
I think combining. Let me think. Yeah, when you throw in LTK, I think I do actually cross the. I think I crossed the 1K barrier. I'm very, very close to it.
You gotta be. I don't think I have. No, there's no way I have 1K videos. There's no chance. Can I check really quick? What's the quickest way to check? I have 138 views in the last 28 days, but that doesn't help me. Doesn't really give me the stat I want.
Oh, I was gonna say, if we're talking videos on YouTube, I'm
No, you're way over that. I've seen that 4,000 view video where you cheat in Celeste.
Yeah, for those of you that aren't aware, the very first video I ever uploaded to YouTube, or one of the very first, it was within the first couple days of uploading things. Yeah, March 3rd, 2018. Shout out to that. Wow. That would have been the day after I got Runway 24. I think
that's back in the old days when you had free time to play.
Yeah, no kidding. And in Celeste, there's this. It was called a true and pure any percent at the time. I'm not sure if it's on the leaderboards anymore, but there's this cheat code that you can put in at the very beginning of the game, that just unlocks all the levels, as if you just won everything. And so it was a meme category for a while, and so I got the tied Switch world record and Celeste, one true meme, 5 seconds, and the YouTube algorithm picked it up a few months ago, and it's shot up. It's at over 5K views now.
It's at 5K.
Yeah, 5K views, 150 likes, tons of comments. A lot of them very the top comment has 106 likes. And then I commented a couple weeks ago asking if the YouTube algorithm decided to send everyone here 3 years after I uploaded it, and everyone's like, yep. So, thank you, YouTube, for being so fucking stupid.
Who knows how these things work? It's just very...
I certainly don't. I certainly do not.
Life's just funny sometimes,
Yeah. Anyway, so it's been quiet recently, but there's still been a few things that have happened here in the past little while. I believe Brabham Cup is still happening. We just haven't got the finale yet.
No, sir. We do not have the finale yet.
Tragic.
We're trying to get there. We're not quite over the line just yet. What do we got here? I reckon. Let's see. 'Cause it's not. I'm looking at the bracket now, and I know Dusky and Choice played their match. And it's just not updated in the bracket, so I guess whoever lost that just needs to play QWERTY, and then they can run the final. So it's close to being done, because those are the 3 people left.
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe we'll see that here soon. It's does kind of depend on people actually, doing the doing the matches.
Yeah, you got to do the matches, but I guess it's tough. I mean, people have schedules outside of here, but as we both can attest to.
No kidding.
Sometimes it's hard to get things done. Shout out to my boy Qwerty making the losers bracket run though, back to the end.
The legend.
What a guy! What a player! He just the fact that a young like 8-year-old prodigy was so good at the game it made Mark surrender. He didn't even play the match. So
what a legend!
That's how good my guy El Qwerty is. So
scared off the Ritsu. Insane. Well, a more recent thing that happened that I actually partook in was Frigate Day, set up by Icy to just have as many eliters as possible just playing Frigate to see if anyone would get PBs, and then like a couple people got some lower agent times, and there was some LTK PBs which were mostly a rel, and then Samo, after streaming for like 25 hours or whatever it was, finally managed to get a 00110.
Hell yeah.
So turns out that Frigate doesn't care what you think.
It doesn't. I mean, listen. Frostops could have told you like you can play the level for 24 hours. It don't care.
Yeah.
It really doesn't care. It was absolutely worth it. The Samo stream was great. The tidbits that I caught, and then to pay it off with the 110, it was great. It was all worth it. And in this man's mind.
Yeah. But curious to see if we do anything like that in the future. I think that'd be a fun thing to do on an annual basis. Talking of Frigate Day did remind me that I didn't do a month of blank this year through the month of May because I just haven't played at all.
No, you usually it was traditional. Like you do the month, you end up doing the month of whatever leading into summertime.
Month of Aztec, month of Rescue, month of Frigate, which ended up being like a week of Frigate.
Because you're like, oh, I'm busy. Also, this is awful.
Yeah, it was slow. It was slow going. But oh well. Maybe I'll throw that in later in the year or something. I don't know.
I should do a month of, I don't know.
Statue. I'll do a month of statue. That's what I'll do.
Yuck. Ugh. I'll do like a month of jungle or something, and half of it will be spent waiting for the level below.
I do need to revisit jungle. That'd be a good idea.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I miss being on super easy jungle leaderboards with very crappy times.
I'm sure in the time since then and now, it's a bit more irritating.
Yeah, I mostly need to just get 50.
You got
that would help get me back closer at least. Yeah, I need 20. I need 21 more points on jungle, and Agent 50 gets me half the way there. So
okay, so I'll look at Gus because Carl's at the bottom, but it's because he has 49 and 52, so that's not really representative.
Yeah, and 57 on 00.
So Gus has 50 and 53 and 54, which sounds about right.
Yeah, so I'd have to get something similar.
At least until randomly the number of people who have 49 goes from 5 to like
12,
13.
Yeah.
Which could happen in the next 2 months. It'd be wild, but I mean, crazy things have happened.
Certainly. Anyway, it is time for our old friend, the forum recap.
Little recap for the boys of the elite.
Been a while since we've been in the forum recap.
Yep, and there were a lot of posts, but not very many that I actually want to highlight today. The first the first one is Cal put together a post talking about the PD records for not using out of bounds on the levels that had out of bounds. So that's pretty cool to look through. So
yeah, just to have like another, like, a resource where it's like, what does it look like if you're just curious, like, what does it look like without all these, like, what does defection look like without all the warping around? And it's like, it looks like this. You're like, oh, okay, neat. I have no idea.
Yep. So that's a fun thread to look through. A lot of good work been put in on that. And then another just super high effort thread is Water Temple Fiend's massive stick thread, which is just huge. And
it is massive. It is what it says on the tin. It is massive.
There's a lot. Like, you could scroll for a day through just the OP, let alone everything else too. So definitely take a look through there.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling now. So
yep.
You just want to know what that's like.
It doesn't. It goes on for quite some time.
Good resource if you want to get into the nitty and the gritty about some sticks.
Yes. So recommend giving that a gander. All right.
Give a shout out to Water Temple Fiend. Let him know he did a good job in this post, because it is really good.
Yes. Gotta love those high effort posts. Speaking of high effort, it's weekly discussion time. And the topic is, well, Summer League 2021. The big league time is coming up.
Yep. So we alluded to it, here and there earlier, but again, like, it's about to be June, so it's a time once again for the one of the bigger community-wide events that the majority of people get super into. Like, it's everyone just really likes it. Even the people that don't play, they just like watching to see what happens. So back at it again. We already had the draft, and we got some new surprises coming up, because you gotta keep it fresh. You don't want to just do the same thing every time,
Yeah.
So we got some interesting little wrinkles thrown in for everybody.
I'm sure. And you of course know all about that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I did put it together,
This is fair.
I did a lot of thinking in the shower. It's like, what do I want to do? And then, as I almost dropped the shampoo on my big toe, I figured out, oh, that's what I want to do. Not the dropping the shampoo bottle part, but what I want to do for league part.
Of course. So. And I actually ended up getting drafted, which was a huge surprise to me.
You did. Were you previously contacted, pre-draft about potentially playing?
I was contacted. Dr. Light sent me a message, and we talked for a little bit about what my summer plans were. And I told him, like, dude, I'm probably playing GE. Like, I want to play this summer because I'm actually going to have time to play. I just need the motivation to do it. So, but I'm going to play GE. Like, GE is not the moneymaker for me, and hasn't
not
been for, like, well over 2 years, probably. The moneymaker for me would obviously be PD, because I have so many things to go back and clean up there. But I'm not touching PD for quite a while still. So I told him I'm a last round draft pick at best. And I mean, Perna did pick me up in the last round, even though he was not there, apparently, for the draft. Or at least that's what I've been told.
No. I don't know if he had to work or do whatever, but, he just drafted us up. The picks in the order he wanted, and when it was his turn, we just took whoever was still available at the top of the list.
But I'll play. I'll stream. I may start streaming again right on day one of League. Actually, I may
You might.
hop back.
You've been known to play a video game. You might do it.
Yeah, there's I have a controller. I gotta go 15 miles through the snow to get to it, but it does exist.
And you got what? You got the the true meme ending record for Celeste, so you're a big time gamer.
This is formerly record.
Listen,
but
it doesn't matter if it's former; they can't take it from you. It was once what it was.
It was about as niche of a record as you can get, but it was not uncontested.
No, it wasn't.
So,
listen, let me tell you something. You know how many events are at the Olympics?
8.
Oh, I'm afraid it's a lot more than that. But let's work with that. Do you watch the Olympics when it's on TV?
I've occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is you don't watch every single event that happens on
Certainly
TV.
not, no.
Okay. Do they still award gold medals for the stuff that you don't watch?
If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes. So even the nichest of gold medals is still a gold medal.
This is fair. Gotta grab the gold in random meme records that I don't even think are on leaderboards anymore.
Listen, I'm just here trying to tell you to be who you're destined to be.
Yeah.
That goes for all of you out there too. But anyway, enough with the metaphors. Let's get back.
I'm looking through the teams. This is my first time actually sitting down.
All right. So just tell me. Just look at the teams, and something jumps out at you. Just point it out to me, and we'll pontificate on such an event.
Shocks me that Goose is even going to bother playing. Would not surprise me one bit if Zella's just memeing, and Goose is just memeing, and he gets dropped after about a week. He could surprise me. Go for it, Goose. I don't care. Play, but I've seen every year there's some ridiculous name that gets drafted and then they don't play or play a day and then they get dropped. That's happened. That happened in 2018 with I think someone picked up Ace and someone picked up Boss, and it's they're not active players right now, and they're just gonna bleed points. Not that many bleed points, but they're not gonna do anything for you.
Oh, you see, I don't know about Ace, but Boss was on my team, and I remember he got some Aztec time with mainframe, and then I think he got one other thing, and that might be it.
Yeah. That's generally not the type of people you want to go for when you're going for the league dub. You got to get people that are good and don't have that have that room to grow, i.e. Dr. Light and myself in a 2019 league.
But if he did actually play to a semi-serious degree, he only has 1270 in PD. There's a lot of growth there.
That's true. That's if he bothers playing that game.
Listen, I just want to see one PR just to see it come across the bot, and I'll be like, that's a sight to behold right there.
Let me see, looking at these, I think JD picking Alu and Gus is a bit wild because they're typically not high producers, but what they do produce is quality. But the rest of JD's team is so strong. I think but then Cordy's is good too.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cordy's. I think Cordy's is pretty strong, top to bottom, really.
I think the Fletcher way too early prediction on who's going to win league is it's a toss up between Cordy and JD right now, I'd say.
Let's have a look here, because this. I guess it depends on some things, because there's some players on several teams where I'm just like, this guy could be really good if he go like if that person goes ham. But since I don't have that guarantee that they'll do that, then it makes me like pause. I'm not so sure about it.
Yeah, that's the that's the gamble.
That's the gamble because like you know, uh, I mean, Dr. Light's team could go wild if they all turned on the Jets, but I don't know. I can't see the future, so I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, the question is, do they?
But I like the team, and it's not just because the team has my name in it.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
I honestly think like these teams are pretty good because it's hard to.
I'll say this, and this might be kind of what you're going at. These seem to be well drafted and balanced teams, pretty much top to bottom. I have seen every league I've been a part of. There's just these awful teams that's like, okay, you're obviously going to be in 8th place the entire summer, and then they are. And it's like, you got to think, what are they even thinking on draft day? But, like, overall, just my first impression from looking at these, like, these are solid. There are some wild card picks in here. But overall, like, everyone has a nice balance of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I mean. Because, like, even, like, you look at professional sports teams that draft, like, even they get it wrong. And they're professionals. You know what I mean? So, these are pretty, like, you know, pound for pound, like, these are good teams. And it probably has a lot to do with the fact that there's way less teams than last time.
Yeah, that's also part of it. Not very many people jumping into captain. Although I think just based on the level of activity right now, I think that fits well. We don't have a huge number of players that are out there just going at it right now. It's a lot less bumping than it was in 18 and 19, especially.
Yeah, in 2020, it was just like going crazy. That's why you could afford to have so many things. But this time, it's a bit more, like, not really low key, but it's a bit more intimate. There's not like as many, you know, there's not 20 fresh faces running around. So
yeah,
it's a bit better to like have it a bit more small.
Yeah, and there's more. Again, there's more opportunity to make sure that you don't just chill out in last place the entire summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's been one of my critiques of leagues in previous years, and part of that is on the scoring system, and part of that's just on some drafting that did not go well.
Well, you know, like I said, like if the pros get it wrong, you know, like
yeah.
Not everyone can get it right. You know what I mean?
I will say, I know you're a big fan of #Stan Pollywood, but I've gotta give best name to Cringergarten.
Yeah, Cringergarten's fucking good.
Because I don't know what it is about that kid, but QWERTY knows what he's doing.
It makes no sense that he just like he gets it, but he just gets it. He knows what's going on.
He just does
the assignment.
Like if everyone will think back a couple years to when QWERTY took Google Translate to the top 100 in Goldeneye and Perfect Dark, and those were just thrown all around the Elite for a solid week, and everyone was just laughing every time they saw it. Shout out to my boy Jeff, and and Bathtub.
Bathtub was so good.
all the mates sitting around. So
I wonder if he redid that now, if he would get the exact same names he got before.
I don't know.
Like if he spit Andrew Wash through however many translations would he get Bathtub again?
QWERTY, I know you listen to this, so I expect to see it in my inbox within the week.
Yeah, run it back. Let's see what happens.
But yeah, I'm hopeful this will motivate me to play a bit more. I've always League itself has never really motivated me. It's always been, for me at least, League has always been furthering my own goals, um, which is part of why uh, Keen did not win in 2019. Because I didn't, I don't.
Like, bang bang. You're like, all right, see.
I don't like playing the daily bonus game. I think it's toxic as hell. Um, but that is what it is. I know my most people that have been around in the last few years are well aware of my opinions on League. I believe at the end of 2019, I wrote a very long write up on the forum explaining everything in great detail. So if you're really if you're out of the loop, you can just look that up. It's still there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they'll read it, of course. To be fair,
That's true. You got to be smart enough to read.
Right. You got to get it at least a 17 on the ACT to be able to read the forum.
At least.
Minimum. Oh man. Well, I will tell you that at least the daily bonus system is a little bit better with a flat instead of like doubling it. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge improvement. The doubling was just cancerous.
Yeah, the double was a bit much.
And then stacking like doubles on top of 1.5 bonuses, and like with things like this, you've got to be so careful with multipliers because they can just let things get completely out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just rough. The main drawback in my mind is the fact that all you need to do is get points. So last year, a bunch of people would get like a single-digit point time and then just stop.
Ooh, yeah, it's a bit tricky to figure out where it's like how do you like balance without making it overly complicated, like without writing some like algorithm, how do you make it count for like the people at the very top do the thing, but then the people that have zero do the thing?
Yeah, that's part of the difficulty. Like when you're already sitting at 8,500 points on the rankings, like where do you get the rest and actually put something forward for the team at the end of the day? So
that's the thing. Well, I tried to because I made some not insane scoring adjustments because it's not a complete overhaul like the 2020 scoring was, but we made some slight changes we'll go over, and you can tell me. Have you read the thread?
I probably did when it was first posted because I know I replied on the thread to.
Probably skimmed it while you were busy.
Probably, yeah.
Something like that. So we'll just go over like I'll highlight the new changes to it, and you can just tell me what you think about them. How about that?
Yep.
Right. So what's new? Well, what's not new is getting a flat 25 bonus for whatever daily level it is. So you can do that twice if you do for both games. But what's new is throwing in an extra 25. If the time you get is in the 80s or higher. So that's like a way to like maybe help the people that are already all the way up, and they say like it's not really worth it for me to play because I'm already up here. And
cut 1 second cut 0 points gained people.
Yeah.
In PD.
So that's an attempt to help them out at least, because it's like the best I could really like reasonably do. I reckon without doing something risky or outrageous.
Yeah, and it makes sense because the higher up people that are already like at that threshold, basically, chilling in 70, 80 plus points, they don't gain that much in rankings points from getting PRs. Whereas the people that have nothing gain a lot more. So it'll probably balance itself out quite a bit, because not many people are going to go from 0 to getting the extra 25 bonus for getting 80 plus in a day. Most people are probably going to end up somewhere probably in the 30s, 40s if they're starting from scratch.
Yeah. And even if they do, they're not going to do it 60 times in a row.
Exactly. Exactly. So that'll hopefully help motivate some people.
That'll get it, at least give them a bump, because, the people that are already up there that are on teams, those are the people that should be helping and showing the people with nothing, like, how to do it from scratch. Like,
yeah.
You would think that's how it should, like, feed back into itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they could play it together, and then, the guy with nothing could get, like, the 30 or 40 or the 50 or whatever, and the guy all the way up there is playing it with him to help him learn. He's like, oh, I got it. I got 85. Here we go. And so they both get some. They both contribute in that way. So that's at least the logic behind it. So
Makes sense.
It makes sense on paper. Now, you know what they say about things on paper, of course.
Yes.
But an additional 25 is a lot harder to break something with than saying, like, oh, here's a 2x multiplier. It's a lot harder to break it that way.
Yeah.
So let's see. What else we got that's brand new? I've got... Oh, I took the 8 tiers, and basically, for records, I basically smashed them into, like, 4 groups. So, like, 7 and 8 are one group, 5 and 6 are one group, etc. And we just do the bonuses that way, because it takes a slight bit of subjectivity out of the tiers, which, to reiterate for the 1,000th time, I fucking hate them. But I kind of don't really have a choice. I've got to use them. I can't just say, like, oh, I'll pay you this for whatever world record. I was like, well, that doesn't really seem fair or really work. So I kind of am pigeonholed into using it in some way.
Yeah.
But making it work with 4 groups instead of 8 is a lot easier, especially if there's, like, an untied situation. It's like, well, what do we do? And it's like, well, if we move it up 1, it doesn't matter. It's the same payout.
Yeah. It's in one of these two. We'll let the people that actually care about this bullshit figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, like, what's really the difference between a 5 and a 6?
A number.
Like, yeah, but what does it mean?
Oh, well, I don't know. I would know if we actually used 5 and 6 more often for tiers, but we don't.
Oh, we only use, like, 7 or 2.
Yeah, like, the PD tiers are disgusting. They need to be fixed. If you want to justify your tier usage, like, every single record cannot be 2 and 3. Like, are you kidding me?
No, they need to be binned. They don't need to be.
And the fact that there's no tier 8s in GoldenEye is hilarious. Like, why even have a tier 8 if you're not going to use it? Like, there will always be a tier 8 because the tiers shift over time. Like, anyway.
It's because like
this is a tangent that both of us will just get too livid about if we keep going.
You know what? You're right. Let's step back from the abyss before we just go about this. That
concludes our discussion of amalgamates.
That's the clue. Yes, exactly. Enough about amalgamates. Whew. Okay, that was close. I was about to put when he jumps off the dam at the end. That's what I was about to do. I was about to be like Bond, just T-posing into the air, jumping off the dam. Right into that whole discussion.
Almost again. Off the edge.
Whew,
oh,
close.
Goodness.
All right. So, all right, bringing it back. So, like weekly bonuses, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, those are back, of course. People like those. I like those.
Shout out to the Birdie Bop Weekly. That was a really good one.
So we got that one. We got some old favorites coming back, and some new challenges, some new wrinkles to look at. But we also by semi-popular demand, and because I thought it was a good idea, we've got 2 monthly events coming up.
Ooh.
So you can think of it as like a weekly times 4. So, you do with that information.
Good. A month, of course, a month of GE bonus and then a month of PD bonus, right?
How did you know?
So vanilla. I knew it.
How did you, man?
I'm on top of my. I'm on the top of my game today, dude.
I'm gonna have to throw out I'm gonna have to start over. Like I have 2 days.
Burn it down. You just didn't see Fletcher coming, man. That's what'll get you.
I didn't know you'd have the hard read, but apparently you did.
I got that neuro degree, man. It just comes with the program.
No, but seriously, I'm not doing something not trying to do something that uncreative. At least not anymore. So actually, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do for you and the viewers at home. I'm actually going to give you a sneak peek and a treat for listening this far. Ooh. I'm gonna spoil the first monthly for you.
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you the name of it, and then you just see if you can figure out what it is. All right, you ready for the name?
Gotcha.
The name of the first monthly is titled "It's Fun to Learn New Things." Where do you think I'm going with that?
It's sounding to me like that might incentivize filling in them NAs that people are always so proud of on their times page.
They do love NAs. I mean, especially if they live in North America, of course.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I see where we're going.
No, you think you see where we're going, because I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna tell you what's going on, because that's not it. Do you have another guess before?
No, I don't.
All right.
I had all my eggs in that basket. Those eggs are now smashed and sad.
Enough with the mental footsies. Just tell us what it is, mate. So, this is a monthly where I'll be handing out a list of underused, underutilized, and underrepresented strategies on the rankings. And if you get a PR, if you get a PR worth points doing these strategies, we'll give you a tally, and the top three teams with the most tallies for the whole month will get a nice fat healthy bonus added to their wallet.
I like that.
Do with that information what you will. The list will actually, of course, come out day one. But, if you can get the jump on a strategy that's, doesn't have as many times on the rankings as it probably should, then you're probably on the right track.
Interesting.
Now, there will be a list for both games, and there will be a section for one section will be levels and strategies that are open to everybody, and then there will be a second section that's strategies for people that don't have a PR with such a time. So, just for an example, right? We'll throw out an example. Let's look at Mr. Blonde's Revenge, right? MBR, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So there are so many PRs with the Trent strategy, for example.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't be appropriate to open that to everyone, but anyone that doesn't have a Trent strat completion, there you go. That would count for you in such a list if that were to be on it. Wink, wink. You understand?
He's telling you guys to learn Trent strat.
Just an idea, you really don't have to listen to me. I don't know how many people actually do. I do say a lot of things that turn out to be right. But
It's not bad, I promise.
it's listen. Would I give away all the secrets 48 hours before it starts? No, I would never do that.
Giving away enough secrets.
So yeah, so that's just a sneak peek at your first monthly, second monthly. Who knows? July's far away. Who knows what'll happen by then?
True.
And then of course, whatever weeklies we have along the way will change out as we go. But that's your whole month of June, and then the other one's the whole month of July. So we'll get and see. And the only weekly that, excuse me, the only weekly that you will know ahead of time, sort of, is the bonus stars at the end of Mario Party.
Yes, that's my favorite part. Do you remember the iconic Gelly meet with myself and Gelly? Where we played Mario. We played like 2 different rounds of Mario Party, and there was one round where I was losing the entire time, and then I won all of the bonus stars and won the game.
Is an actual iconic bit of Mario Party is just winning the bonus stars and winning when you've just been jobbing the entire match.
Yes.
Well, so I finally solved the problem of what to do for the last week of League when it's like 3 days and it's not really appropriate to use an entire weekly right there.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout the League, we will be tracking secret stats, and the last week we'll show them and be like, these are the happening bonus stars for Mario Party. So that's your last weekly. Now, what are we tracking? You don't get to know. So you better do everything.
Yeah. Gotta make sure you're losing the most points. That'd be a funny one.
That could be it. Like the
teams that have lost the most points or like the most negative players on a team.
Yeah, team whoever has a member that's in like the negative triple digit.
That'd be funny.
That's good. That's good stuff. So that's all that's really new. Everything else is pretty standard and familiar, and everyone's ready to go. And as soon as it hits 0000 on the clock, where I'm standing on June 1st, we will get started.
Sounds good.
So, whatever you want to mobilize your team to do, you make a tutorial, tell them to do this, not to do that, hug your mama, whatever you need to do, just get ready. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good show this time.
I think there's a good shot of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
We of course shall see. Best of luck to all the competitors out there.
Yeah, best of luck to everybody, especially the team that has my name in it. I'm only slightly biased for some reason.
Of course.
So, I think, unless you have anything to ask or add, I think that would conclude our discussion on Summer League 2021.
I do not. So let's jump in to outside the Elite community now. It's been a pretty quiet month as far as any major developments or records in other games. There's a couple things I do want to highlight. A little bit of MK64 action. The Wario Stadium shortcut flap, which was the longest standing record in MK64, standing for 2,913 days, was beaten almost a full month ago now. Beating the time originally set by Greg Inatenko of 2:31, and that has now been chopped down to 2:25 by DNTN31. At least that's his Reddit username. I don't know if that's his actual. Jonesy. Jonesy is his name. There we go.
His government name is DNTN31.
So shout out to him for beating that. A development that I happened to stumble across that I thought was pretty funny. So New Super Mario Bros. Wii, one of the more popular Mario 2D speedruns. They discovered that certain cutscenes run faster when the game is run in 4:3 instead of 16:9. So 4:3 resolution saves at least 2 seconds, and potentially more.
Oh, that's something else for it.
I thought that was really funny.
Now that's the kind of thing that you like. You're explaining to someone who don't know what speedrunning is, and they just look at you like you're a fucking weirdo. You're just like, oh, I save 2 seconds if I change the entire aspect ratio of the game, and they just look at you like, you okay? Like,
yes.
what a listen. You just never know, man. Like, just some weird setting that no one ever thought of, and all the games would be completely different.
Yeah. And then, so I obviously follow ZFG pretty closely. So his
as been shown on the record,
his current most recent endeavor has been, because 100%'s kind of in a weird spot right now because there's some rules things that need to be worked out with all the crazy SRM discoveries and stuff. So
as we knew would come at some point, it would come to a head.
Yeah, so that's currently completely stalled out while the geniuses that understand the game figure out what the rules should be and everything. So he's not been playing 100%. He finally managed to sit down with one of his other pet projects that he's had on his to-do list now for several years, revisiting a category that he came up with called Max % Child, which is where you attempt to collect as much as possible as just child. And so you never go to adult. Ocarina of Time, obviously, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. In Ocarina of Time, attempting to collect as much as possible as child. And for a while it looked like the number of items that were available to get wasn't going to change that much. Because, of course, this is one of those runs where speed is not the most important thing. It's more challenge run style, something like low %, where if you manage to skip an additional item but take 30 more hours doing it, then that actually is better. And so it's the same thing here. So if you're able to collect a new item, but it takes longer than the old route, it's still better because you're collecting more. So that becomes the new record. It's based on how much you collect and then how fast you collect it.
And then the time. Right,
yeah.
Okay.
But he did some investigating and discovered that he was able to get fire arrows through a glitch by performing a 20-minute hover off of a gwei.
A 20-minute hover?
Yes. And then he does some more setup, and then he has to do like a 12-minute hover after that. So he's basically hovering for like 30 to 40 minutes off this gwei.
Wait, is he hovering into the sun?
No. So he's the glitch that he's using is get item manipulation. So he's manipulating what item he gets from a chest, and interacting with water. If you've ever seen, they do a bunch of crazy shit in the basement of Deku Tree to get a bunch of items. That's what they're doing. It's GIM for short. And I don't even pretend to understand how these things work.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, so basically using a complicated glitch. This is in Desert Colossus, is where the hover and everything happens.
All right.
And he investigated it, and originally the strategy was TAS only. It did not involve the gwei hover in the same way. But he did some investigating because he's like, it'd be really cool if we could get fire arrows in here. And then he discovered an RTA viable setup for it. And was simultaneously happy and sad that he did, because then it meant that he basically had to do it, because he's like, well, now I gotta do it. So
Good news. Good news. I found out you can hover for 45
Yes,
minutes. To get
he
it.
hasn't.
Bad news.
He has
I have to do
indeed.
it.
He has completed a run with it. There were a couple. There were like 3 or 4 other items that were recently discovered how to get as child as well. So the total number of items went up quite a bit. The run's like 5.5 hours long or something. So if you're into that sort of thing, it is an insane run. It's like the biggest thing about it is that it's using like every trick and glitch in the book all the way through. And then, of course, you have that massive Gwei hover in Desert Colossus to cap it all off. And, of course, that's like almost at the end of the whole thing.
That's your reward.
Yeah, that's your reward for getting all the way to the end is this massive Gwei hover. So, if you're interested in that, that's something you can check out. That's a more recent development. But that's pretty much all I've got.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about OOT. Like you can honestly play it like there's so many categories. You can play it like 100 different ways, and they're all super interesting in their own way.
Yeah, it's such a broken game. Which is, it's so funny because like playing it casually, it's like not broken at all. But like when you know where the cracks are, you can just break it open.
Yeah, if you're just like going, you're just like, oh, well, no, that's fine. But if you know where to lean a little too hard, then you just fall into a completely different world.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Makes it a very interesting game to keep in the loop. All right, well, I believe it is time for Person of the Pod, and you selected this one.
That's right. Yeah, it's time for Person of the Pod. So today we got I've got a lot of guys, but this guy is one of my guys.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. Form lover. Form lover, strat master, and one of my favorite Brits is it's the man named Ted whose name isn't Ted. It's White Ted.
Iconic.
You're the Person of the Pod boss.
Does he listen? Does he listen to the pod? I don't.
Oh, he does. In fact, listen, White Ted, just prove that you listen to the pod. I want you to at me in lobby and tell me that you appreciate being made Person of the Pod. So when you see him do that, there you go.
That'll be the proof. Good. Shout out to Ted.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm keen for the next TED drop, whatever like insane strategy that actually turns out to work. I'm ready for that.
Oh, for sure. All right. So Q&A. Brought up QWERTY earlier, and QWERTY was the Person of the Pod last time, and of course, all I had to do was threaten QWERTY for more questions, and he had plenty.
Oh yeah, he's a big talker.
So first question, all 3 of these are provided once again by QWERTY. Again, if you would like to submit questions for us, DM us on Discord, or comment on the YouTube, or the forum thread, or like send me a letter, or like yell really loudly, like however,
smoke signal,
whatever works for you to get it to us. We will answer it. We've already answered a bunch of ridiculous things. So
listen, you can DM somebody else and tell them to send it to us for you.
That you could do that. It'd be a very roundabout way of doing it, but you certainly could. Like whatever works, whatever floats your boat, man. However you get it to us is fine. So the first question: what PR was most surprising when you got it?
PR is most surprising when I got it. Let me think.
I think I have 2 answers for this one.
There's some decent options. Why don't you go ahead?
So the first one I got to throw out there. This is one of my earlier PBs, and everyone that was around at the time remembers Aztec 00 Agent 146.
Yeah.
It was worth 80 points when I got it. It was a 10-second cut, It was way better of a time than I had any right to get at my particular skill level. Like, I was actually speechless when I saw the end screen. And I mean, eventually it didn't hold up very well. Um,
These things never do,
it's only worth it's lost 25 points in value, but that was 3 years ago when I got it. Just over 3 years ago actually, because it was May 2018. And I was in shock when I got that, and everyone in stream was in shock. And when I posted it, that was one of the first PRs where people actually noticed that I existed. That's the classic. There's a Luke quote coming off of that where he says, "Adam V is decent."
Decent. That's a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard it.
So that one definitely, and then the second one for me has got to be, and I can't pick between these two. The other one has to be Jungle SA54 because I have this huge stuck on the crates, and so I thought that the run was just dead and that it was not going to be good, and then it was somehow 54, which was like way faster than my goal time and an insane time, still with that massive stuck, preventing me from getting 53 or maybe even 52 if I'd gotten a boost or something. But my shock when I got that time was that's a good reaction. That's a good reaction of mine.
Yeah, you were just like, how's this 54?
Yeah.
Oh man, let's see. I have a couple. Let me think. I think one time that actually surprised me at the time was way back when I was trying to pass Icy for 10th, and I got War PA 55, only because it took like I played. Let's see here. I was slaving on essay, and it took so long, and the PA one took like 15 minutes, and I was just like, what happened? And obviously it was like it's a luck box of a level, so it makes sense that can't happen, but it was just like really weird. I was like, why did it just give it to me when essay sucked, and essay is a lot shorter?
Yeah.
By quite a margin. And then let's see, another one that's I'm trying to think. Another one I know back when I was like an actual like baby, just figuring how to like crawl and like hold the controllers. Like when I actually got Depot Agent 26 playing 2.x and like opening the doors with my face because I couldn't hold the second controller. I actually couldn't believe that it actually happened. So that was something else.
That's fair.
And then still like, semi recently, let's see, when was it? Was it really January? Wow, time is really fake, isn't it? Time.
Yeah. It's rigged.
I finally got Attack Ship 210 like back in January, and it was overdue for like my entire life.
Yeah, years.
And, I still can't believe that the game actually like gave it to me, and it was on like, of course, because the worst run's complete. Of course, it was like an actual awful run, but it was the first 20 ending I ever got, and if I think about it for more than 2 seconds, I'll actually be pissed off. But I just can't be mad. I'm just like, fine. Finally gave me something.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, I would constitute that as pretty surprising.
Yeah. All right. Favorite Horde bit.
Oh man. Man, there's some good ones. Let me actually capap3.com.
I feel like the recent hordes haven't had as many bits in them. Like we gotta bring the bits back around. Like that's the meat and potatoes of a horde, is the bits. Like that we've lost our way since the capaps. It's a tragedy.
I really like one of my one of my favorites for sure is in K4 when Dusky does the Anthony Fantano bit where he's commentating Frostop's Surface 2 run. Like, that was hilarious to me. That one I like a lot.
I'm a big fan of the JD 102 fake out into Duel 9.
Into Duel 9, that's strong.
That one's iconic. And then I forget which Capap it's in. I think it's in Capap 1. The Bez apartment tour is absolutely iconic.
He has it in the shower.
Yeah, and he's like the PAL setup or something is in his bathroom because it's trash or whatever. That one's really good.
See, that one's good.
Now I won't pick any from part 11 because obviously that'd be a bit biased.
Well, that's a bridge too far, isn't it? That's a bit leaning on the
Marcus
bias.
Striker.
Let's see. The JD commentated the rescue one from Century Club where he just put in a bunch of fucking memes. Like, I'm fine with that. The Sampat finale is, of course, legendary.
Yes. How could I forget? How could I forget? Pat. That's literally where the name of this fucking podcast comes from.
That's right.
Past the runway.
I remembered.
Oh, I need to rewatch Sampat, man. That one, I gotta give that one another. Arlene.
Well, that one might actually be the best track, and there's some really good candidates.
I'm too dumb for PD. Take me
That's
back
of course,
to GE.
That's of course iconic. Put that on. It's still not on. I don't even have iTunes, but I'd buy it.
Oh my god! Yeah, no kidding. Oh.
And then I like the Rage compilation from Capat 3 is really good.
Yes.
We're just playing Elton John over it. I like that.
That one. Yes, that one's good.
Laugh.
That one's good.
And then also from Capat 3, like Green's intro was hilarious as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last question. Longest drive you've done? And QWERTY comments, we just drove like 6-7 hours yesterday to see family, and it's on my mind. This question changes whether I'm the driver or I'm just in the vehicle.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, am I a passenger or am I the driver?
Because those are two different answers.
Because if I'm the driver, it's probably when I drove. Probably when I drove from here to Orlando, which was about 6 hours. Unless you mean like in a day, in which case there was a situation where I drove from here to my family in Alabama and back in the same day, which was 4.5 both ways. So if you don't, if that counts as 9, then that would easily be the longest I've spent in a car in one day.
Yeah. Let me think. I mean, I there was an overnight bus ride to Philadelphia from my high school. That was long.
For like band or
yeah, for a band trip. And then I've driven to Philly myself before. That's a long drive.
It sounds like a long drive, actually.
Then where else have I driven? I mean, my family drove out west a lot, so like there were probably days where we pulled like 12-ish hour days of just driving, going out there, 12 or more potentially. And there's a good chance, because I'm traveling this summer myself, there's a good chance I hit some days like that, depending on how far apart my stops are. Which reminds me, if you live in the middle of the U.S. and you're willing to lodge me up for a night, I will be in touch.
It would save you from a 12-hour day, certainly.
Yeah. Because I have a theory that I can get across the country just couch surfing through the elite. Maybe I could make it into like a do a vlog or something. I don't know.
A traveling Moam.
Yeah. And I mean, when I go down to Atlanta this summer, that's like a 10-ish hour drive. So,
Yeah, that's a double digit.
Yeah, I'm probably doing that all in a day as well, getting down there. Which, if you guys put together the pieces, you realize that me being in Atlanta means that there's a good chance for a live in person past the runway.
It certainly could happen.
I would say there's a decent chance.
I would say there's a non-zero chance that it would happen. Could happen. But that's something to chew on for another time.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
That might be a teaser. That might be a big lie, and maybe I'm going to Atlanta, Maine instead.
You could just be going to the aquarium and then leave. Sounds.
Go to the aquarium, hop on over to Stone Mountain, and drive right on back. Nice little day trip to Atlanta.
I mean, it would be. It's been a while since you've been up Stone Mountain.
It has been a while. That was quite some time ago. Like, oh god, 7, 8 years.
Yeah,
thereabouts.
Back when you had so much free time to play, you didn't even play because you didn't know it existed.
Yeah, exactly. No kidding. Well, okay, so that gets us through Q&A, and we need that trivia answer.
Okay, so we'll remind the folks at home of the question was what's the current longest standing LTK untied imperfect dart? Mm-hmm. And you said
I said CI LTK. Boss is 133.
Okay, Boss is 133. That stood for 1,308 days and is the third longest standing currently. So you had the right idea, but not quite.
That's I feel like that's closer than any of us have ever been on getting these.
Yeah, we're usually way off the mark. This was at least adjacent.
Yeah.
To be fair. Well, the answer was at 2,163 days is Pelagic 2 LTK 157.
Oh, I almost said P2.
So, on the tip of your tongue.
I almost said P2, but then I swore that I remembered that when I watched the P2 LTK records way back when, I swear they were boss runs. And I'm like, oh, these must be more recent. But, alas.
Interestingly enough,
2015. No one's beaten this? What?
Yeah. Boss has never held the Pelagic 2 LTK record.
Interesting. Well, you just ruined a trivia question for later, Pauli.
They'll forget.
Feeble minds, for sure.
They'll forget. I'll put that in my back pocket for 8 episodes from now and whip it out.
There you go. The only ones... You're truly at an advantage listening to PTR if you take notes, my friends.
Listen, yeah, I just gave you the study guide, so you'll be ready when it happens, but it's not happening yet.
All right, well,
I think that brings us to the end.
It does indeed. So from us here, hope you're all doing well as things kind of get back to normal. Generally speaking,
relative term. Of course.
Best of luck with League. I mean, I'll be seeing y'all around for sure. At least right now, that's my plan. Obviously, I could just forget to pick up the controller up the snow 15 miles, but
it's a tough trip.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that's it for me. So goodbye forever.
Yes, good luck. See you in League. Listen. Let me tell you something. That thing that you've been thinking about doing, you're like, oh, I really doing this, and you keep putting it off. It's like, I don't want to do. Oh, you just keep coming. No, this week I want you to do that thing, and I love you. Goodbye forever.